The Neil Haley Show, and I first want to welcome my co-host Paul Hollis, author of the Hollow Man series and owner of Hollow Man Publishing. Paul, how are you? And I know you're excited about our guest.
I'm always excited to have our next guest on here, Mina Valentine. She is a wonderful historical romance writer, and you all need to read her books. So welcome, Mina.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Well, I'm happy to talk to you because you brought up the Four Horsemen series. Is
Yes.
your romance novels that are coming out soon to a theater near you. But we have not talked about characters of the Four Horsemen. So let's kind of tease some characters for your fans so that we can learn a little bit about your characters.
Okay. The first character is he is a marquis. His name is Martin Claymont. And he sees a woman, and her name is Muriel. And she's very unique. But he sees her for like 2 minutes, and he searches for her because he was in love with her before he even got to know her. And then when he met her, it was even better. So that's the first one. And then the second one is Frederick Wyndham. And he is best friends with Martin. And his love interest is a woman by the name, or a lady by the name of Margaret. And they've kind of known each other, but they got thrown together in the first book. So the first book kind of gives people an idea of who these two are.
So do we introduce all the Four Horsemen in the first book or not?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Are they how have they become a clan, Stephanie? Not even Mina.
Yeah. Well, Frederick and Martin grew up together. They grew up in Bristol.
Mm-hmm.
So, and their families were marquises, and so now they're marquises. The other two gentlemen, they're both earls, and they went to all four of them went to Eton. So they met in Eton, and they became really close. So I told you about the two. The third one, who I'm starting to work on now, I love him. I love all of them, but when I start writing them, I really fall for them. But his name is John Herbert, and he's an earl. And there's something that happens in the second book that kind of hooks him onto this one girl. So you'll find out about her.
How are men at that time compared to men today when it comes to romance?
Oh my goodness. Well, there were a lot of protocols. They call it the ton. Maybe it's not the tune. They had to court them. There was a certain amount of time. They had to post things in their church for 6 weeks. There had to be approval. They signed a contract. The man proposing had to meet the father because the bride to be would have a dowry, and so they would work on that. What's the girl getting? What's the father willing to give? Those kind of things. It's a lot different, but there were also a lot of a lot more loose sex, I guess you could say. It was a lot more proof for men to have mistresses.
And how does that work in a romance novel, having mistresses? It doesn't spell well to the people people, especially primarily women, read your books.
No, because my couples fall in love. And so they never have another mistress. They may have in their past, but going forward, they fall in love. And when you love somebody, you don't want to do that. And so they really fall in love with their wives. And the wives ask them, are you going to do that? Because I won't marry you if you're going to do that. And they go, why would I want to do that? I love you. So it really is a happily ever after, ever after.
That's great. And of the characters of the men, how did you come up with ideas of how they act and talk and walk and all that?
Well, I've known a lot of men, and I've known a lot of older men. And they're some of the older men are uniquely different. They're a little more reserved, stoic, sort of sometimes. And so Martin's that way. He's very reserved, and so is John. The other two are a lot more gregarious. They make jokes, they gouge.
You know where I'm going to go to this from this next. Of these four men, you probably dated all of them or been married to some of them, potentially. Married to one, I'm not, I'm just saying. Or have had serious relationships with some of their characteristics.
Oh, well, I've known a lot of men. In my business is with my businesses, probably 90% of my business was with men. So, and I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in psychology. So I kind of can get them. You know what I mean?
And so this is why people should also read the books, is because this is exactly what women should look for in men, are these four horsemen, it sounds like.
Absolutely. I think the one thing that women today need to do is learn the man before they dedicate themselves to them. I would expect my husband to open my door, pay for my meal, um, help me put my coat on. Those kind of things they did back then.
And are
And
men not doing that as much anymore?
I hear that from other women, and I castigate them. I tell them, that's your fault. And if they won't do it, you need to find someone else, because that's respect. To me, and I may be offending some women out there, but to me, it's a sign of respect. Maybe some of the younger girls don't think that's important,
Right.
but for people my age and maybe older, I think it's very important.
And I think, as I talked about off air in my, now I do have a girlfriend, but at the time I was doing a lot of dating after my marriage, I learned specifically enough what women really want. And a lot of women have gotten really thrown the wrong bag, and they're being choosy, and they're going to wait.
Yes.
They are going to stand their ground. They're not going to settle for anyone. And that makes it very, very difficult for men to find somebody after a divorce compared to maybe 20 years ago, where it was a lot easier. Women are willing to be alone than settle. Do you agree with me on that?
Right. And so I think it behooves the gentleman to learn the old etiquette, because women like that. You know, the women that are divorced, they look for a man that's going to respect them and care for them
and be an alpha man too. Do you think they're all alpha males, all four four horsemen?
I would say two, maybe. I would say two of them are definitely alpha males. One teeters, and the other one is just crazy.
All right. Well, this is a great conversation. People definitely need to just search Mina Valentin on Facebook, Mina Valentin author on Facebook, and her personal page. You'll be able to spot her easily. And very soon the books will be out, the website will be out.
Oh,
It's all
so
happening.
I'm so excited, and I hope people will read it and like it. And I hope they like this interview because I, you know, I might have sounded a little dated.
That's okay to sound dated because those are the people who are going to buy. We're going to find out that target market. Well, we appreciate it, Mina. Thank you, Paul Hollis, author.com, myself, neilhaley.com. And I appreciate it, guys. And we'll talk live very, very soon.
Okay. Bye.